Yeah, thank you very much, Reverend, and thanks to all those who asked those questions. Very interesting. I was told when I was in primary school that anyone who asks the questions usually have the answer. But what sometimes they want to do is just to validate whether what they have is correct or not. And that's true to an extent. The first question, I will answer it. You might not have expected this answer, and I'll answer it, but I'll also challenge. 257 million Africans are going to bed hungry. Is it by design or by default? I'm throwing that back. And I think you know the answer. God didn't make Africa to have 257 million people go to bed hungry. That means we as human beings have done something that is not right. But let me first answer it from an institutional perspective. You ask, what is UNEP doing about that? You know, the environment is food. The environment is health. The environment is economics. Without the soil being protected to be intact, nothing will grow. Without the trees to continuously ensure that our water can flow, we will not even have water for irrigation. So UNEP promotes what is called ecosystem-based adaptation. That is, how do you till the soil in this way that you are not destroying it? How do you protect trees so that they can continue to ensure that our waters flow? How do you protect pollinators? You know bees. Bees pollinate 75% of the food that is produced. How do you protect them? But more importantly, that is at production. What UNEP is doing is, when you produce, that is not enough. You need to preserve. You need to add value. And that is why UNEP is helping countries come up with policies that are decentralizing solar dryers. And we are actually working with youth across the continent to fabricate solar dryers, and this is creating employment, helping to reduce post-harvest losses, so that these 257 million people can be able to have food. But the most important aspect in that question is the solutions to food security are us, ourselves. No organization alone can ever do it. It is people, because the solutions of food security are not of farmers only. They are not of the hungry people only. They are of you and me. If you have a skill to develop a solar dryer, that solar dryer can add value to what is produced. You are not a farmer, but you have a solution to it. If you are a banker and you can be able to work with financial organizations to give loans at low interest rates to those who are purchasing solar dryers to add value, you are contributing to a food security aspect. If you can help a mother to have connected to a market, to someone who buys watermelon or buy cassava or buy maize, to be able to sell what he or she produces, you are contributing, and that is called a value chain. So the solutions to food security need you and me, and that is why the concept of innovative volunteerism is very important. Now the challenge to that question, we always ask what others are doing for us, what organization we never ever tell what we ourselves are doing. That's when I come next time, I want to hear what you are doing or thinking of doing to solve the problem of the 257 million people. Not only what the other organizations are doing, but what the other organizations are doing and how you can contribute or how you are contributing. That is selflessness, and that is bringing a solution to the table. The second question is still related to that in Kenya. The question is examples of what youth can use to do. What I've noticed as I travel across the continent is one thing: the youth are energetic. They have solutions for nearly everything that we face. But they're very selfish. Very selfish. They're very selfish. And I say this with a heavy heart because the reason for me coming to speak about selflessness is as a result of this. There is no absence of solutions to the food security crisis in Kenya. When you talk of the app, the M-Pesa, on earth it was developed here in Kenya. When you talk of solar dryers, they're produced here in Kenya. When you talk of other aspects of solar irrigation, there are people who are assembling that in Kenya. But the biggest problem that is causing food insecurity is that people like to operate in silos. They don't work together. And that's where the aspect of self, because they're afraid that if I work together, I might lose some money, but if I'm alone, I will conquer the whole space. Lies, you can never conquer the whole space alone. And then you will not solve the problem. You will think you are solving the problem here, another problem happens there. So you need people, you need farmers, you need those who are dealing with solar dryers, you need those who are dealing with cooperatives, chamas, you need those who have access to market to come together so that they can be able to address these issues. And that's why we have worked with youth in Kenya to come up with an application system called a bagro pamoja. What they are doing, they are looking at where are the cassava producers in Kenya, where are the maize producers, where are the tomatoes producers, and looking at those who are producing solar dryers, looking at markets, looking at different cooperatives and financial institutions to bring them all together so that if a farmer have a problem of finance, she can access finance. If a farmer have a problem to dry her tomatoes or dry her vegetable, she can be connected to where she can get a solar dryer. And this is within the framework of what is called a BAFOSA, which is Ecosystem-Based Adaptation for Food Security Assembly. And this Bagro Pamoja has been founded by youth. So the solutions are there. What you need to do is to go and register on www.innovativevolunteerism.abafosa.org, and we will engage you and guide you for free, because that is our own volunteerism as well. And the last question, how do we overcome jealousy and hatred? I know even the Reverend is waiting for me to answer this in biblical perspective, but I'll be a little bit rough as I answer this question. Just take a deep breath. Take a deep breath twice, in and out. Take it again. How do you feel? How do you feel? Nice, relax, right? Good. When you hate one another, what caused people to hate one another? No, stand up. I want to leave this. I want us to be interactive on this question before. I don't want to answer it only from my perspective. Yes? Jealousy. And why do people become jealous? No, be loud, be audible. I will answer it, but I want to get your input. I see everybody is murmuring, but it means that they know what they're saying. Well, this question, how do we overcome jealousy and hatred? What brings hatred is greed. Greed. What brings jealousy is greed. This one-letter word, G-R-E-E-D, is what has collapsed this continent. When you are greedy, you want to have everything alone. Because you don't want another person to have it. And when the other person tries to come closer to it, you are jealous and you hate. We are too greedy up to the point that we think that if we have everything, it means we have succeeded. No, you have actually failed. And that is why the message, when you are selfless, what we should know is that greed is stupidity. Greed is ungodly. And to overcome greed you need three things. If your interest is to leave a legacy, you must solve problems. And problems are solved to better the lives of people. So if you don't think only about yourself, you think that if I can leave work and come here to talk to you people so that you can get ideas, I am selfless. And if you can create time to leave your house, the mentors have come here, they're not on pay to give information to you. They are selfless, they're not greedy, and they love you. So the easiest way to overcome jealousy is to become selfless, to love one another, and know that when you do something right, God will reward you. So when we instill that thinking in us, that if I am good, I might not get the reward today. If I don't have, and I have people that I've helped, it means I have everything. That I do not need to drive in a Range Rover at the expense of other people. That if I can be able to support a society so that each and everyone can be able to have an opportunity, it means I have succeeded. That is selflessness. So greed breeds hatred and jealousy. Greed breeds jealousy, hatred, and selfishness. And I don't know, did I answer the question? And even beyond. And now my last words. My last words will be very simple. Where I am today, I've said this so many times here, but I'll repeat it. I went to school without shoes. And I grew up herding goats in the northwestern part of Cameroon. But there was only one message that my parents continuously told me. They told me that poverty is a mindset. They told me that poverty is a mindset, that poverty is not a commodity, that poverty is not anything that we should adore by talking about it, because poverty is a mindset. They told me three things: that with passion, humility, and hard work, your dreams are valid. But above all, respect for one another. But when I went to school, because I came from a very poor home, my parents could barely afford to pay my school fees. And there were some times that I dropped out of school. There were times that we studied under trees, because even in the school where we are, sometimes we didn't have roof on top of the classrooms. When I finished school, they didn't have money to send me to the high school, and my uncle, if you've read my book, which I'm going to send that to Reverend G in PDF to share to everyone who hasn't gotten a copy. When I finished school, my parents didn't have money to send me to high school, but my uncle paid my school fees. And later on, I went to the university, but I could not even stay near the university. I had to trek kilometers away every day, and I was staying with my uncle's friend. But when I finished university, there were no jobs. I had to volunteer for 1 year. And the volunteering for 1 year is what gave me the best lessons that have reshaped my career today. I learned what I am still utilizing today. I volunteered to help in communities. And I was not paid a single shilling. But the lessons that I gathered through volunteering for 1 year were what I used in my application to win a scholarship to England. Why am I telling you this story? If you do not volunteer for something useful, you will volunteer for something useless. But I ask you to choose to volunteer for something useful. And do not always ask, why is someone not doing this for me? Always ask yourself, what are you doing for someone and for your community? And for you to do that, you must volunteer. Even my coming here today is part of my volunteering. And so, volunteering is selflessness. For us to banish jealousy and hatred, to answer again that last question, we must inculcate the spirit of volunteering to help solve problems not only for ourselves but for one another. And that is why we came up with this concept of innovative volunteerism, which all of you here are innovative volunteerism actors, that you can be able to come together and solve problems, do something, not always waiting for someone to come and say, do it. That you can use what you have and be at the service of others, not always others being at your service. I won a scholarship as a result of innovative volunteerism. And as a result of that today, what I believe that we can all do is to engage one another and always please avail yourself for volunteerism, because your ability is your availability. If you are not, you call a meeting, and I'm glad you guys are here. For people don't show up, but they want problems to be solved for them. Your ability is your availability. So avail yourself anytime you are needed to give your services to community and to help others. Like Reverend G said, you ask people to come for a meeting, they say, are you going to pay me? You tell people to come for dinner. No, we will be given money. Money doesn't speak. And you cannot make money to be more important than even thinking about what you can offer to society. Money is made by man. And you cannot adore what you make, because it means you're surrendering your power. But when you volunteer, you build skills, that skills can bring you billions. God bless you.